I would like to ask the Defense Secretary and Ram Chandani sir. Sir, we have been talking about Make in India. It's been 11 years now since the government of India, the Modi government decided came out with this Make in India in defense policy. It has now changed into Atmanirbharta. Sir, you have been in the government for a long time, and Arun sir, you have been in the industry for a long time. Can you tell us what are the major changes that you have seen with this policy coming in, and how has the dealing with industry, and for you sir, how has been the dealing with the ministry and the government changed in these 11 years?
Yeah, so I've been dealing with industry even before I came to defense. So, and I see the defense industry as an extension of the broader industry that we have, given the fact that there are dual-use technologies. Often even the companies are common. Many of our companies are conglomerates who've also diversified into defense. You raised the question about whether how the role of the public versus private sector has changed. I think, the numbers speak for themselves. The fact is that out of our total value of domestic sales, the share of the private sector used to be as low as about 10 or 11%, and now it is closer to about 23%, if I remember correctly. And the public sector is about, the balance. Interestingly, when it comes to exports, the opposite is true. The 60% of our exports come from the private sector and only about 40% from the public sector. Although the growth rate of the public sector in the last few years has been very significant, primarily because of MIL getting a lot of export orders for artillery shells and things like that. So yeah, the much abused or used term level playing field, you can see that happening. The field is getting leveled in terms of our tendering processes, in terms of weeding out policies that involve nominations, weeding out product reservations which involved giving orders only to the public sector. In ammunitions, we've removed that reservation issue, so we expect a lot of Indian and foreign companies, one of whose representative is sitting here, to set up ammunition plants within the country, because ultimately you don't only need platforms. Probably weapons are even more critical these days, particularly standoff weapons, as Operation Sindoor showed us. And those are the areas where the more we diversify our industrial base, the more we create surge capacity, the more technologically proficient and industrially diverse we are with surge capacity, the better the chances of sustaining and ultimately winning both short and long duration conflicts is there.
So Ajit, let me try to answer your question by recounting my journey of 40 years in the industry, because I think that gives a snapshot from where we began to where we are today. When I started my career as a young design engineer in a private sector industry, and we were very lucky to get associated with the IGMDP program that Dr. Kalam ran. And we worked with DRDO, we supported them. In a sense, Dr. Kalam was a visionary who felt that he had to integrate, private capability into building India's missiles. And that's how we learnt our ropes and got into the industry. But we were somewhere in the corner of the industry doing our own thing and feeling proud that we are serving the nation. Cut to 2001, when the defense sector opened up, so to say, for the private sector, and it was a licensed sector. And we had to, obtain licenses for, participating in the sector and selling to the MOD. And we kind of applied for every conceivable license because we said, things are opening up, and a lot of people did that. And the initial years post that, of course, evolving from development, DRDO-oriented operation to trying to sell directly and to bring our own products into the market was a tough job because the incumbents were already there. You had all the HALs and the BLs who made everything, and the ordnance factories that made everything in the country. And, we had to kind of coattail that and see how we find a place for ourselves. Cut to about 2015, where the whole thrust changed to Make in India and to creating this level playing field, allowing us to directly participate, bringing in the concept of Indian design, developed and manufactured as the key thrust for procurement. And all of this has changed, and today we run a sizable defense business, which of course it's still a single customer market. Things don't happen at the speed of light and at the speed at which things happen in the commercial world, but things are changing, and we feel quite confident that this will be a growing sector and industry.
Just to interrupt, in case our audience didn't know, Mr. Ramchandani, Senior VP and Head of L&T Precision Engineering Systems. So, as you spoke, sir, that you have 40 years experience, and the Defense Secretary also spoke about, how the steps that are being taken by the Government of India to decrease the monopoly of PSUs, or maybe better use of the term would be diversification. A related question to that is that there are many private firms which still rely on imported raw materials. High tech is not easily available. The components are not easily available. The electronic systems are not easily available. And then you have, change of regimes in countries which may not be favorable towards allowing exports to India. So this robust domestic supply chain, which is non-existent or just in its nascent stage, how far will that delay our Atmanirbharta program?
So you're right. To build a strong defense industrial base requires a large ecosystem, and it's evident that India has a long way to go in developing that ecosystem. I would say we should adopt a two-pronged strategy. One is that keep encouraging people to get into deep tech, to build products, to build the ecosystem base. Like today we are, there's the whole semiconductor mission, which is encouraging people to set up semiconductor fabs in India, to do set up fabless companies in India, to create IPs. Now you have to encourage that, and because that ecosystem is not easy to build, because end of the day, defense has very specific products, and the volumes may not justify commercial scales. So probably there the government has to step in, and they are stepping in to create the enablement for that ecosystem to be built in the country. That said, we can't take a very hard stand that we are going to island ourselves and do everything ourselves. We have to permit where it is going to take us some time to build that ecosystem, to permit partnerships, to permit people to co-develop products together, to co-produce products together. And I think this kind of dual-pronged strategy will work well. What is happening that in the past, our relationship with foreign suppliers was more of licensing of technology, and I would say that's it's a kind of a crutch. You just are dependent on doing something under license to a limited extent, and we need to evolve out of that and look at co-developing, co-producing products with foreign partners.
Do subscribe to the ANI Clips channel to get shorter versions of this podcast. Click here to watch the full episode.